Hello, and we are back with our Batman the Animated Series episodes commentaries. My name is BATGUS, and today's episode is gonna be one that could be considered maybe a forgettable story or a boring one, but there are many interesting things about the plot here than what we could expect. The episode Paging the Crime Doctor. So as usual, let me do my countdown so we can watch this episode together. If you have your Blu-ray box set or DVD box set or streaming service with Batman the Animated Series, alright? Let's go in 3, 2, 1, give it a play. So the Warner Bros. Logo is on the screen. Yes, Paging the Crime Doctor. By the way, if you are a retro person who still uses pagers in your life, this is an episode for you. I'm kidding, but it's an interesting title, right? Paging. First of all, because paging, right? So talking about pagers, that's very retro technology to call someone or to send a message to someone. And here, Crime Doctor, what is the Crime Doctor, right? Is it a new villain? Is I don't know, a new character from the lore of the Batman? Not really. It is actually one of those episodes that has a very grounded plot and once again adding to the variety of genres that this TV show has, which is so amazing, right? I always mention here about this whole idea that Batman the Animated Series is this conjunction of so many genres of stories with Batman in the plot, and that's why we love so much this show. And here, the Crime Doctor is actually this person who works for the mob. So this is a plot that will involve the mob, the crime in Gotham City. It's a plot that could fit very well in the grounded nature of stories, like, for example, of the Matt Reeves Batman universe, including the new, amazing, and awesome TV series, The Penguin. And the episode starts with an ambulance vehicle approaching an armored car on the road, and some bad guys inside the ambulance start to shoot the armored car. They use machine guns and gas bomb. So it's a very cool and grounded action scene right in the beginning of the episode, right? So the armored car flips on the road, and the bad guys are going to try to steal something inside the car. One of them say, "Get the box," right? So they get the box on the back of the car, and this is where we're gonna have Batman making his first appearance in the episode very soon. And obviously he is gonna show up in the bridge that they are running. This is a very funny scene. He's running alongside the car on the top of the bridge, which is very impossible, right? I mean, but anyway, he jumps on the top of the car, and there is this, now it's going to have this action scene with Batman being dragged or being carried by the car speeding on the bridge, and he flies over the car. One of the criminals fires against him. He grabs the man's gun. Then the guy driving the ambulance hits the brake, and Batman flies off the car. He falls on the front of the car, and then the criminals try to run him over. And Batman uses a very cool strategy. He jumps in the front of the car and covers the windshield with his cape so that the driver can't see the road ahead. So he loses the control of the car and hits the side of the bridge. And this is where we're going to have the criminals trying to escape. Batman gets one of them to interrogate him, but then another one gets a kind of a laser gun that is a prototype for a weapon. And that was inside the box that they stole from the armored car. And this laser hits Batman on his ear. And when I mean ear, I really mean the ear of the cow, not his real ear. And this hurts Batman. He gets injured by this. He actually has to escape the scene, not to be fired again. And so he jumps off the bridge and falls on a cable car, and is able to leave the scene. Very injured, very battered. So anyway, and then we go to a scene with Rupert Thorne arriving in this medical institution where he talks to a doctor. And apparently the man who stole the laser from the armored car, they work for Rupert Thorne. And the doctor that he's talking to is a man who needed this laser to do a brain surgery on the brother of Rupert. And then this doctor and Thorne, they argue. Apparently, this is the crime doctor, right? The guy who works for the mob to attend criminals in secret without the awareness of the police. So he has to work for Thorne. And during the conversation, the fight gets so heated that Thorne ends up falling to the ground because he has a heart condition, right? Then we move to a scene with Dr. Leslie Tompkins. She's working as a doctor for the poor neighborhoods of Gotham, and the name of the place she works is the Wayne Foundation institution. She's taking care of this woman and her child, and once they leave, the shadow of the Batman shows up, and then we have Batman appearing to be attended by her, and he falls to the ground, which means that he's very bad. So she attends him and gives him some pills because he suffered a concussion, right? Thankfully, it's nothing very serious. And yeah, so she gives him some suggestions to stay in bed the whole day, which is something that Batman can't do. And then we go back to Rupert Thorne. He's still talking to the doctor, and he tells Thorne that the doctor tells Thorne that he needs a surgery right away, which is something that he doesn't want. I mean, that Thorne doesn't want. And apparently, to make this procedure, the doctor needs help, right? He can't do a surgery in Thorne just like that. So he has to ask the help of Leslie Tompkins, who is the doctor who can help him with the procedure. Of course, she won't be very willing to work for the mob, right? But this doctor, which I forgot the name, I need to remember his name. Like I always say, I don't watch these episodes before I do the commentaries. I like to remember the plot points during the watch, which I think is better, right? Is is much more interesting than, just tell the story for you guys and not appreciate or give you my opinions about what we are watching. But anyway, I will remember his name during the course of the episode. And here we have the doctor. He arrives with the Man of Thorn to ask Tompkins, Dr. Tompkins, to help him. Of course, she gets very fearful, and she grabs a bat. Okay, the name of the doctor is Matt, right? Matt Thorne. There you go. He is brother of Rupert Thorne. What a plot point, right? There you go. There you go. But in my defense, this was a plot point that was kept in secret until now, right? It wasn't until the moment that she recognized him as Matt Thorne that his name was revealed in the episode. So, there you go. It wasn't my fault. Anyway, she refuses to work with him, of course, and then of course, the goons of Thorne are going to grab her and force her to go with them. And this is not something that Matt Thorne is happy about. He's not a bad guy, but unfortunately his brother is, so he has to work with them and follow their ways of acting to do the necessary, right? Then we go back to the Batcave, and Batman is having a tea with Band-Aids on his head. And he has to sew back the ear. And then he talks with Alfred about why Rupert Thorne wants a medical laser that can be used almost as a gun. What does a mob boss want with a device like this? And then we move back to the surgery, or to the scene of the surgery in the hospital, where Leslie and Matthew Thorne are getting ready for the procedure. Bruce and Alfred then go after Leslie to probably get some information about what is this laser, and then they find her office all messy, and she's not there. Plus, Bruce finds an old picture of Matthew Thorne with Dr. Tompkins, and he starts to connect the dots of what is happening, right? And then Alfred mentions that his father, Bruce's father, Thomas Wayne, also knew Matthew Thorne. So there is a connection there. Probably they studied together in the university, right? Bruce, he finds a book, an old student's book of the university that Leslie Tompkins studied, and finds out that not only they knew each other, his father and Matthew, but they were close friends. So the whole plot starts to, connect the Waynes with this circle of characters. And this is very interesting. It's a very good plot. And again, let me just take a moment to diverge a little of the commentary and discuss what is this episode, right? I mean, in terms of an animation for kids, or what's supposed to be for kids, and of course for adults. We all know that this is a show for adults as well. But what kind of episode is this? It's so grounded in adults, and the whole plot is so, I don't even know what kind of genre we are talking about here. It's a drama, basically, right? Is a family drama, because we are talking about a mob boss that is suffering from a heart condition, and then his brother is the doctor, and then he has to force another doctor to do the procedure of the surgery. And Batman is involved in all of this. And this is an episode that doesn't have too much action. We are having an action scene right now where Batman, he tries to enter the place where the surgery is being done. And he fights a goon, one of the nurses that work in this institution, a very big guy. So there is an action scene here, which is cool, of course. But at the same time, it's not an episode that... when you watch as a kid, you can really understand or really have fun, right? As a child, I'm saying. I actually don't remember this episode as a kid. I think I only watched it by the time I was a teenager, when I had these DVDs bought. And it was one of those episodes that I didn't care very much, of course, but at the same time, watching it now, this is a plot very keen to the more adult version or interpretation of the universe of Batman that we are seeing in the Penguin, for example. Everything is very well plotted. It's a real universe. There's no robots, werewolves, monsters, Clayface, creatures. There's none of that here. And this is what's so fascinating about this show. How can they insert a story like that in here and still feel consistent with the rest of the show? That is, most of the time, Batman fighting some supervillain or going to some very intricate plot that sometimes involves supernatural stuff. Like last week's episode, the mudslide, we had Batman fighting Clayface in a dark castle on the top of a cliff, almost. So, I love this. I love this about this show, how it can go up and down in terms of the reality and the supernatural, mixing these elements without a flinch, basically. And this is absolutely fantastic, in my opinion. So by watching now the Penguin series, it feels coincidental to be watching this episode this week, and feeling like it's the whole plot here fits very well in that kind of universe. Plus, speaking about Rupert Thorne, we had recently the trailer for the new animation of the DCU universe from James Gunn, Creature Commandos, and apparently Rupert Thorne will be showing up in there. So this character has been showing up in many versions of the Batman lore. He was in Batman the Caped Crusader, and now he's going to be on Creature Commandos. So yeah, alongside the Carmine Falcone and Salvatore Maroni, that are probably the most famous characters, gangster characters of the Batman lore, Rupert Thorne is getting a lot of importance as a character of the Batman universe. So I like that. Well, I don't think it was confirmed that it is Rupert Thorne in Creature Commandos, but it really looks like him. And he's part of the Dr. Phosphorus character plot. So let's wait and see. Going back to the episode, apparently after the surgery, Leslie Tompkins is forced to run away, and Matthew Thorne is trying to help her because the goons of Rupert Thorne, they want to kill her so that she doesn't speak to the police or doesn't give away their schemes, right? So we have this huge chase in the building that the institution where the surgery took place is happening, and Now we are having Matthew and Leslie on the top of the building, and they get to the roof, and Matthew, he jumps to the roof of the other building, which for an old guy, that's a very great feat. And he asks Leslie to do the same. She refuses at first, but then one of the goons comes firing his machine gun at her from behind. This is very brutal, but he misses, and she jumps. When she jumps to the other building, she actually misses a solid ground and almost falls, but Matthew is able to grab her hand first. He can't hold her hand for too long, so she falls and starts to fall from the building, and this is where Batman comes in and jumps after her and grabs her in midair, saving her and taking her to a safe place, which is great. And yeah, this is it. This is the end of the whole episode in terms of the plot. Now, Matthew Thorne, he gives himself to the police, and the ending of the episode, we have Bruce visiting him on this room in the police station, and Matthew thinks that Bruce is going to give him some money for a few favors, because Bruce says, I need to ask you a favor, and he thinks he's gonna, do the criminal stuff, give him some money for a favor, but then Bruce says, no, I want you to tell me about my father, which is very sweet. And then Matthew smiles and asks him to sit down, and they both start talking, and this is the end of the episode. A very nice ending, very kind, very sweet, and it's interesting because we had a similar plot with the whole, a doctor that does some favors for the mob, and he gets to receive favors or something like that in the Batman, right? With Carmine Falcone saying that Thomas Wayne once took a bullet from him in his own house when the boy, Bruce Wayne, watched the whole thing from the stairs of the mansion. So it's an interesting plot that is very common in the Batman lore, the whole relation of the Waynes in some way, in some capacity, with the mob, right? But anyway, the episode is done. Thank you very much. If you are liking the content of BATGUS, you know what to do. Please leave a like in this video and subscribe to this channel so we can keep talking about Batman and DC Universe in the future, alright? See you in the next Bat video, and bye-bye.